to galacticconnection.com, one of the most popular blogs on the World Wide Web today for alternative news. Stay tuned for the latest information on our world shift from enslavement to galactic involvement, as well as current intel on any blockages impeding us from our sovereign birthright. Knowledge and self-mastery are key at this time. Our commitment is to present you with the latest breaking conspiratorial articles, off-world messages, exopolitics, cutting-edge technologies and sciences, and also an ever-significant intertwining of spiritual support and metaphysical scope that one needs to dive down the rabbit hole in search for truth with balance. We are truly on the horizon of a new golden age filled with the promise for more love, worldwide peace, and accelerated intuitive skills, where every living being can exist in cohesion and abundance. It is whatever we envision and dream this new world to be. I say to you now, let's redefine the new world to the beginnings of our own precious heaven on earth. Galactic Connection is here to provide the pulse of Mother Earth through an eclectic range of interviews each Tuesday afternoon from 3 to 4:55 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Station 2 on BBS Radio, expanding your perspectives on how we can once and for all take back our freedoms, our joy, and our connection with our mighty I Am presence. Our intention remains true to connect hearts and minds everywhere in order to obtain global unity and galactic and universal acceptance. Our discussions will continue to cover anything to do with galactic society and our involvement with our galactic brothers and sisters. Our guests are experts in their fields, and our radio shows have been coined as some of the most thought-provoking out there. In addition to our daily blog, which runs 365 days a year, we also offer a realm of healing services such as our world-renowned implant removal processes, our spiritual past life clearings, our galactic violet ray alchemy from Alexandra, who shares in the lineage of Merlin, and other cutting-edge healing technologies. Check our site out at galacticconnection.com now, sending you a wave of light, love, and inspiration, and a personal hug and thank you for listening to our Galactic Connection radio show and visiting our blog today. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Alexandra Meadors of galacticconnection.com, and I hope you're having as much of a wonderful day as I am. I woke up this morning and again saw no chemtrails, and I thought something has definitely changed. Now, this is a pre-recorded interview for June 28th, 2016. If you're not familiar with my radio shows, you can dial in to bbsradio.com. I'm on Station 2 on Tuesday afternoons from 3 to 4:55. If you miss that, you can also catch me on YouTube, youtube.com/Galactic Connection, as well as vimeo.com. So, with all of that said, I have a really major announcement to make. I have been sitting on this for years. And I woke up this morning and I realized that the time is ripe. It is now. It is a time to rejoice. It is a time to regroup. It is a time to get clarity. It's a time to collaborate. It's a time to really see where we're going. It's a time to face our future and recognize that we've gotten through a really tough time. So, with that said, I want to prepare you for some things. And I ask you that if you can, forward this announcement to anyone else that you feel needs to hear it, please do. I would appreciate that, as I think they would too. So the first thing I want to let everyone know is Galactic Connection has been working around the clock for 4.5 years now. There are many days I've worked 22 hours a day with the drive and the ambition I've never seen within myself, and I mean ever. And I'm a hard worker, but I knew in my blood that this day would finally come. And I knew I had a particular amount of time to get things done in order to prepare for this moment. I want everyone to understand that although you may not speak to me directly, you may not see the ultimate customer service that I have always wished for because of the lack of human resources and the lack of financial resources. It does not mean that an immense amount of working and planning and strategizing and envisioning and communication with above has not been continually going on with the sole goal in mind to assist not only the guardians, to assist not only all the people of this planet and Mother Earth herself, but to remove oppression at any length. Seriously. I'm very married to anyone that I see that is sacrificing very much of their lives for what they are burning inside to accomplish. Let me explain. This is a time, most definitely, that we are seeing more and more whistleblowers coming forward. We're seeing more and more people who are doing radical things, and it's not being stifled. It's actually making it to alternative news. Why is this? Because basically there are two different types of individuals. Maybe there's two different types of individuals within each one of us. One of them is our individual lives, our day-to-day operations, our family, our children, our animals, our property, our home, our friends around the corner. But then you have the other side of that, which is your planetary self. And that is what kicked in for me after this severe car accident I had. People thought I was nuts. All I could ever talk about was this huge mission that I had received while I was in bed. I couldn't stop talking about it, dreaming about it, drawing about it, focusing on it. And I didn't have all the answers. There's no way. I didn't even have all the details, and that was deliberate too. And in fact, it created some frustration for me. But this journey has been an incredibly fulfilling one from the standpoint that I know everything that we have been doing for the last 4.5 years in particular, okay, up till today, has been completely contributing to this moment in my life, and I really do feel in your life. So this announcement is particularly timely for the guardians. And I have so much information to review that I am going to once in a while review paperwork because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something. So the first thing I want to make an announcement about is I received an angel, I'm not going to call him an investor, but I received some angelic assistance financially. And it was enough for me to be able to get out of my site that has been limping along, literally. It has been attacked, hacked, and whacked. And we've outgrown the server, we've outgrown the theme. So I was really asking for help. And I just want everyone to thank Sal. I don't think he wants me to use his last name, but he has really been truly an angelic presence in our lives and has given us the ability to move forward because, frankly, we've been kind of stuck. You know, the finances are always an issue. For those that are not aware, because we run this blog 24/7, 365 days a year, and we do it for free because I feel that strongly about getting information and what's going on in the world out to everyone, and there should not be a price tag on that. But guess what? It costs a lot of money to run this blog. And I'm now at a place where I have so much to do. I've had to hire 2 other bloggers. In fact, we need more bloggers. So please be aware that our profit margins are low deliberately so we can keep it affordable for all of the people that we really want to assist. And as you know, I'm extremely a huge proponent and supporter of the healers of this planet. and I want to be there for you in any way I can. And the messages I have received is that's one of my main roles. So please keep that in mind. If you have anyone who's interested in freeing themselves and they would like to have a very unique experience with Galactic Connection and what we offer with the implant removal services, please send them our way. A reference is always greatly appreciated on this end. So that's only one of a myriad of things that we do, as you all know. And if you're new to Galactic Connection, check out the alchemy that I do. We have other new healing services coming on board. We have, I mean, just a plethora of stuff that's about to be announced. And there's been a lot of work and planning going on in the background. So that's kind of why it's been a little bit quiet. It's kind of why people are wondering what's been going on. Now, we have a new website, and that, thank God, is because of Sal. He has really been helping us out with this. And as everyone knows, Adam Apollo has been the one that stepped up to build a new website for us. We're really excited about it. It's fairly different than the one we have now. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you to be patient with the maneuvering of the new site. However, there were so many limitations in the old theme that this site is going to have a lot more maneuverability, flexibility, and a lot more other options that are needed as we step into this next phase. So please check it out. It looks like we're going to be launching this weekend, and we're hoping that everything goes well. Now, we do want to clarify our role with the blog. And most of you get it, you know, but for those that are new and have just come on board, Galactic Connection was literally developed and designed to maintain balance in all of the material that's out there. So yes, we do present historical accounts that are not the most positive information, but we put that out there because we feel it's necessary or it's possibly beneficial for you to know that information. We also put out a lot of positive information, the progress on the planet, what kinds of changes are occurring that are really representing that the people on this planet are actually taking their power back. That's a really big deal to me. So that's important. But what I must clarify is we really try, okay, not to take sides. And the reason I use the word try, okay, is that sometimes there are sites that might be missing from Galactic Connection where it's only because we have personally, testimonially come across, known, experienced that perhaps some of the messages from that site were either detrimental or burdening the mission at hand. So that's really the ultimate thing. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not about creating dissension. It's not about creating a schism. I'm really big about that. There are players on the internet that I don't necessarily agree with them, but it's okay, you know? Again, we're all doing our bit. And ultimately, when we pull out of this whole so-called game, we're going to see that many of the people that we thought were just monsters might have had some of the most difficult missions, and we just didn't get that. You know, who knows, right? We have to stay open to our expansion, our ability to perceive things differently than what we do now. It's very rare for most of us to really have all the answers in this dimensional level, and it's deliberate. So no matter how enlightened we are, we need to remain open to how we're going to be able to see things in the future. Now, we also are looking into launching Spanish articles and incorporating the Spanish population, because there is a huge amount of growth in that area. And as you know, I mean, I'm in California, which is Mexico's right next door to us. So we really have gotten quite a few requests. We do have quite a few clients in South America, even Central America, as well as Mexico. So we are going to need people that would be willing to translate Spanish articles. And we already have some people that are stepping forward, but we also want to ultimately expand this for other languages. So especially some of the most critical information that needs to be released to the world, we are looking for people that would be willing to volunteer their time to translate those in the appropriate languages around the world. Because Galactic Connection is here for the long haul, and we definitely have been not only selected, but we've elected to become the hub of the internet for marrying the ufology community, marrying the conspiracy as well as the truth seeker community, and of course, what's near and dear to me, the healing and spiritual community. So it's really important that we have a hub that's able to keep everybody in the loop, no matter what their their language is. So got that out of the way, okay? Now, what happened was I was supposed to go to a conference. It was a private conference regarding first contact. And I was really sitting on the fence. I didn't know if I wanted to go because when I do leave town and I come back, it just increases my workload that much more. So there were a lot of considerations whether I wanted to do this or not. And I decided that I made a phone call or two and I decided to go ahead and go. Now, in the process of arriving there, it became very apparent to me there were people not only watching but following us. It did not feel like a very safe type of trip, by the way. And I knew something very serious was up. And as I've said to many people before, a lot of times you get sent into things and you're only on a need-to-know basis. And this is to save your life along with many others. And that was exactly what this was all about. Now, once I got there, many things began to manifest. And I still cannot give away all the details. But what I can say to you is this. It was a major, and I mean major, transition for the light. It has already begun, and we were told at that time that this was literally the catalyst for all the dominoes to unfold and fall. And they're still falling, guys. So what occurred was, in my opinion, not only miraculous, but it was very clearly planned out for years, and I mean a long time. Very victorious. And you can begin to feel and see the results of that for the Allied forces as well as just the whole company of heaven, period. There's just been a phenomenal amount of shifts. I want to stress that I am in no way claiming that just my mission was responsible for this. You know, I'm really big about that. We all are doing our own bit. You've heard me say that over and over again. But what I can say is that this particular trip showed me once and for all, for the first time in my life, what I felt to be really crossing that main turning point. I wanted to share that with you. I've been sitting on it for so long now, been frustrated that I couldn't share it with the listeners of Galactic Connection. I want you to really read between the lines with this. We have crossed the point of no return. Truly, this mission and continuing missions have included not only the Allied forces above, but also the White Knight military forces below ground, and all of us who have been called to various missions around the world. And I have found out that many of us had coordinated ceremonies and missions across the world without even knowing it. It was just amazing. And it was very successful. So many of us so dedicated to getting the job done. And that right now just gives me goosebumps to think of how many beings are vested in getting this done. So you should be applauding and celebrating. I hope that you will understand that this is a celebration message in a big way. Now, I also would like to stress this as well. The guardians must remain strong. Now, we have a very keen sense of opposition. We have a very keen sense of a darker force that might be thwarting our progress. And unlike many who potentially just focus on love and joy, we tend to remain very vigilant and very aware of oppositional forces. And I've had many come to me and say, you know, they get kind of beat up by other people in the spiritual community. And what I'm going to say to you is, do not buy into that. There are all different people in all different walks of life and all different extraterrestrials walking this planet, all different star seeds walking this planet. Every one of them has a different role to play. And when we all realize that everybody has their own mission, everybody has their own purpose, the purpose of the guardians is very distinct. It's very important. And quite frankly, we are up to bat now. It is now our time. It is now the time of the guardians to shine and to get the home run. We have been so accustomed to sitting in the background, to doing all the heavy lifting. And I mean, there's stuff that the guardians take on, even in the inner plane, that is insane, that other types of light beings, they don't choose to do that. And I hope someday that we all stop pointing fingers at the guardians who say, oh, well, you focus too much on the darkness. I want to remind everyone, we cannot have the light without the dark. I had a Hermetic teacher, it influenced me greatly, and it resonates with me, that it's as above, so below, as without, so within, okay? If there's any darkness within any of us, if there's any shadow side with any of us, and find me one person that doesn't have that, then there's darkness. And that is of this dimensional realm. And we're already shifting into higher dimensional realms, but there's still darkness there. It's not like we're just going to turn the light off to darkness, if you understand what I'm saying. So give yourself a break, because some of you come to me and say, you know, God, I really got beat up when I wrote into this forum or what have you. Remember that each of us is, we're marching to the tune of a different drummer, and that's okay. That's just totally okay. The other thing I want to remind you is not to lose sight of maintaining your discernment. Now, this may really hit home for some people, but this message came in this morning. We must constantly remind ourselves to keep our perspectives in balance, that with every victorious moment, we are assured more victories if we maintain that neutrality. If we stay too much in the victory and the joy and the love and the bliss, you know, and get like crazy, okay, we can actually cause ourselves to lose some of our boundaries in making sure that no type of sabotage or darkness comes in, slips in, what have you. We are not completely out of the woods yet. We must be diligent and not lackadaisical. This does not mean paranoid. This just means be aware. So that is the guardian way. It is how we are designed and wired. And be okay with that. Now, if you're paranoid, if you're like too much in the darkness and you just everywhere you look, you're looking for somebody that's going to screw you, or you know who's going to pull a fast one on you, then you've got to take a look at that too, because as you know, we're really stepping into a realm of manifestation. It's not that we couldn't manifest before, But all of these blockages and layers, etc., so many of them are getting removed minute by minute. And there will come a day where we're going to see that which we manifest like that. And how cool is that? Okay, we're actually stepping into that. So I want you to really think about rewriting what you think about yourself, and not based on what you've heard from other people, not based on how you see other people. Now let me explain. It's a really important time for us to start dreaming again. In fact, it's so important because as we're dreaming, we are creating. We truly are creating. And many times, the creations that we are bringing forth are based on what we were told we were good at, even though there's a resistance, or we jumped into it because we saw someone do it and they were really cool and they were good at it and they got a lot of accolades and it felt really good to you. It's really important for us to go within and remember the moment that brought you the most amount of joy. Go back to your childhood, to those moments when you were lying in the grass and looking up at the clouds and chewing on a weed, okay, and blowing bubbles, and go back to that moment and try to remember, what was it that brought you extreme joy? Even in the most difficult childhoods, you had to have had a moment like that. This is the time for us to go back and review that part of our lives, to try to remember what was our intrinsic ability, quality, talent, etc. Because if you're really unhappy right now with where you're at, it's unfortunate because it's not just hurting you, it's hurting the greater cause. And we would like all the guardians to be on board. Once the guardians are all fully on board, we are going to be unbelievably non-stoppable. And we're very powerful beings. So it's really important to spend the time and remember what your most memorable moments were, what was your happiest occasion, why, what were you creating, what were you doing? Were you reading? Were you writing? Were you singing? Were you drawing? Were you creating a book, a manual? When I was a kid, when I was 7 or 8, I'm sure you guys get a hoot out of this, I was so into spies that I created my own spy manual. You know, I love collecting intel. It's the guardian way. All of you are doing it. Without you, the Allied forces would be lost. And I'm hearing them say, absolutely. So it's all in what you can dream about. What you don't go into, well, this is a dream, but this requires X. Just think about, what could I dream about and how big can I dream? Because this is where it's at. And I want you to look at your prior blockages and see them through a new lens. Start going back into your childhood and look at all of the blockages that occurred in your life and ask yourself, what did they provide you now? What were the positives that came from that situation? If you were severely abused physically, for example, what did you get out of that today? Does it create you into more of a, are you a much better discerner? Can you read people like that when they come in the door? Are you on the money every time you make a decision because you've got this sixth sense, because you just know whether someone's reputable, whether someone's integrous, whether you should go into business with them? I want you to really look at that. These are all very intrinsic and important qualities that we gain from these very let's just say, challenging life experiences. And really go there. And if you can, I know a lot of you may not like to journal, but in whatever way that you can journal, even if it's drawing or you working with clay or going out and creating a labyrinth outside, whatever it is that allows you to take that creative expression and you create a union with Mother Earth is just so key right now. It's really important. Now, many of you have written in over the years and you actually recognize who I am on the inner plane. And I want to thank you for that, because many of you have helped me really come to know myself much better than I did when I first started out in 2012. Many of you know that I have died for you in the past, and you have died for me. And for the sake of doing that, it was all about removing oppression and reattainting freedoms for every living being. We have that burning desire within us for freedom and for justice. The guardians are the freedom fighters. The guardians are those that have experienced very horrific lives in many cases. This one you might have had a little bit of a break, okay? But for the most part, we've very often experienced being hung, drawn, and quartered, burned at the stake, beheaded, stabbed in the back. We assassinated. I can remember several of these types of experiences just myself. So many of you must realize that you are the knights and the high priestesses of a time long ago. And you have watched my back, not only now, but in those days gone by. So we are now coming to a place where we're uniting. We're starting to come back to our family. We are our soul family. And this is so exciting because enough of the filth on this planet is being cleared to open that pathway for us to find each other again. I mean, that alone is a miraculous situation. Many of you know that I'm an alchemist, and with the implant removal process, no one does what we do. It's a very unique process. There's a reason for that. As I've said many, many times, many healers are out there that offer phenomenal services, and everyone does their own thing. I just know that what we do is very special. It's very unique. And if you only had a clue how many packages with my oils and essences are sent out in the last, 3-something years that are either stolen, ransacked, lost, ripped off, destroyed, or just disappear. Now, what I want to ask you is why? If what we're doing is not working, or if it's not important, or if it's because, the energies are just going to dissipate it, which, by the way, that is not true. That is true for specific types of implants, not the ones that we work with, because it's all about your individual ancient oaths, contracts, etc. And we are here to assist you with that on multiple dimensions, by the way. So this is not just about having your implants removed. It's far more than that. It's all about freedom. It's all about removing oppression. And you know this on the inner plane. You know who I really am on the inner plane. So I can honestly say that I don't think there's an establishment on the planet that has had as much sabotage just in the shipping of their products to their clients. And guess what? We're still here. You guys hung tough with me. You totally get it. You understand the interference. You understand what we've been up against. And we've all been in this together. I just want you to understand that I get that I couldn't have done this without you. It's been a really tough road for us on this end. Talk about a need for tenacity. My God. I mean, I'm a really tenacious person, but I had no idea what I was up against when I stepped into Galactic Connection in 2012. So to look back in the last 4.5 years and to see how far we've gone, it is not just, you know, on this end. I'm looking and thinking to myself, I'm always in communication with you on the inner plane, right? And we communicate more on the inner plane than we realize. So look how far we've come, and look how much things are easing up. And if they aren't easing up in your life, I want you to really take a look at what is that void? What do you want to dream about? Allow yourself that moment and really get in touch with your dreams. Don't put any restrictions around it. Don't put any boundaries around it. Just let it flow. Just let it flow. It's important to remember that every single one of us carries, especially the guardians, guys, each one of us carries a very specific piece of the puzzle. Every one of us carries a very specific piece of the mission that we are here to do. And as I said before, the guardians are now up to the plate. It is now our turn, and you're going to be called out. Now, as you've heard me say before, one of the classic characteristics, I guess, for a guardian is isolation, lack of trust, being betrayed, feeling like ostracized, feeling like the outside world is not serving you. So you tend to kind of stay in your home. You tend to really keep yourself around a very small circle of friends. Guess what? That's the old paradigm. And that's from all of those lifetimes where, as a freedom fighter in whatever capacity, I don't care if it was, you know, the Roman days, Mary and Yeshua days, or today, we are changing that. Okay, and the guardians are playing a big role in this. So it's important, if you're sitting on the fence and you really kind of want to start doing something cool, it's really important to get in touch with what's holding you back. Now, if you've not checked out, I have 2 awesome formulas for this. One is called Stepping Out, and the other one is called Renaissance. The Renaissance one I created thanks to Saint Germain. He came through very strongly when I first created it. And its key themes are rebirth, vitality, involvement, stress, shame, love, flexibility, authority, breaking free, new beginnings, altruism, and taking action. Okay, that's the Renaissance one. The Stepping Out, okay, I'm just going to read this to you. It says it's specifically designed for those of you who have been in hiding due to countless interfacings with dark opponents, as well as a history of incarnations which force you to remain unseen. This blend is a gift for all of us who do not feel compelled or safe to step out and reveal our wisdom, talents, and visions for the world to see. Well, guess what? We're being called. The call has been put out. The call has been put out in a big way to the guardians. And how many times have you heard me say, I am here, okay? Just make sure I have it right. I am here to gather the guardians. That's my role. It's one of my roles, okay? So I feel really passionately about this. I'm like giving you guys a kick in the pants to get it together because we need you. And now I'm about to make my next, really, in what I would consider to be outstanding and exciting announcement. Now, with the new site comes a lot of other new stuff, and we're working on all of that as well. But we are and have been focusing on the bigger, longer picture here, okay? I received very detailed downloads, okay, of overseeing the building of 12 centers across the world. These were very specific centers. We can refer to them as guardian centers if you want right now, okay? And they are very specifically designed to not only incorporate and take into account extraterrestrials visiting us, the surface coming and going, okay, but also the Agarthans. And so this is very important that we get started on this. And I feel like now it is the time. I literally, I woke up this morning and I knew that this is what I was supposed to talk about. And when I ran it by my fellow assistant, she got the exact same message, and she was in the same galactic council meeting the night before as I was. So it was a great confirmation. Now, as you know, when you look at a guardian, and you know me, I'm really into the days of the old of the Knights Templar and the High Priestesses. Integrity was of the utmost importance. It was without a doubt one of the most key ingredients. Now, the other two that are very important, and I should say three, is being non-corruptible, being dependable, and being reliable, okay? So non-corruptibility is probably one of the #1 issues on the net today. This is why there's so much confusion, is a lot of people, they start out where they have a good heart and they want to, you know, help the light on the planet, but for whatever reason, they may have a weakness within. It could be an addiction. It could be emotional body issues that they still haven't forgiven themselves or forgiven others, and it's kind of like overtaken their whole energetic being. They may be suffering from jealousy, greed, rage, so on and so forth. If those things are not cleared, you can and most likely will be used as a possible conduit for darkness to come through and sabotage those around you that are trying to do light work. So this is what I consider to be non-corruptible, somebody who's really founded and stated and really rooted in their foundation of what they feel is their truth. And I'm going to use the words right and wrong because, as you all know, our third dimensional language is just so not matching the vibration that we're experiencing. But truly, we are learning our own boundaries. What makes us happy? What are we willing to allow into our field? What are we not allowed to allow into our field? In fact, the last interview I did with Gonzalo, we talked a little bit about this, that it is absolutely wonderful and perfect to forgive another who has hurt you or betrayed you or whatever. It does not mean that you're not a good person if you don't bring them back into your fold. If you do not feel compelled to do that, you must stand your ground and stay in your boundaries. You know, stand in your truth. It's really important. So we're looking for people that have inner strength, that have healthy boundaries, and people that are in their own authority, where they take action because it's not about, oh, that person told me to do it, or my boss told me to do it. They're taking action because they know it's the right thing to do, and it's the most beneficial thing for all parties involved. Okay, so this is where we're stepping into, and it's a time for us to really remember that as we step into our own work, as we step into our own mission, we are really being called to come from our hearts now. And I hear this so often, well, I don't have any gifts, I'm not clairvoyant, I'm not clairaudient,
I don't really feel like I have any guidance that I can, really connect with or what have you. And what I'm going to say to you is, if you still really believe that, then start making your decisions based on your heart. Now, when you do this, you ask that your heart and what you know to be true work in unison, so that when you make decisions from your heart, you're not setting yourself up for another, maybe looped situation that you'd already gone through 55 times and you felt like you hadn't learned your lesson and you're really done with that and you don't want to repeat it again. We tend to think, oh, I don't want to work for my heart because I did that before and it got me hurt. But no, what we're being called to do is come from your heart, but do it in a manner where the piece that you might want to address is coming from your heart, allowing that situation to unfold, but you can now make the choice of, you know what, I don't need to bring it back into my field. Okay? I can just allow it to be there. I don't have to all encompass it. Hope that makes sense. I just felt really called to share that with you. We are also being called to see, do we see ourselves insignificantly? Is there a piece of you that feels insignificant? That feels that you aren't as much or as great or as this or as that compared to someone else? Because we don't have time for that. I want to remind you once again, you came here fully intact with your mission, period. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Your mission is intact. It's just a question of you discovering what really makes your heart sing and not using any restrictions around that decision. So let's say you're an IT engineer and you're working for XYZ company, but when you go home at night, you love to paint. And it's kind of like something you don't really talk about because you've been brought up to believe that painters don't make enough money. Okay, guess what? That just shut the door down for magnificence. Because if you really enjoy painting, you're probably going to be a painter that nobody else paints like. Every one of us has unique qualities and characteristics to bring forward to beautify, harmonize, and heal this planet. We need the artists as much as we need the people that do business. And oh, by the way, all of you that are out there that have these jobs and you feel that they're just not going anywhere and you're really bored with them and you're really sick and tired of it, though there is very much a significant part that plays. And I'll tell you why. Okay, as you can tell, I'm kind of leading up to it. I am here to build a completely new paradigm in business. I feel that, it's important for us to build something that incorporates the whole. It incorporates community. And when you're building an enterprise from the ground up, you really want to incorporate all of the ideas, all of the desires, all of the, you want to address all the fears. You want to see each and every person attain their own dreams. And if you look at most corporate structures right now, they don't even function with this paradigm, not even close. It's, one guy or one woman, they had a dream, they thought that they could create a better product, a better service. Maybe it's less expensive, maybe it's more productive, maybe it does better things or what have you. And the whole corporation is established around that one key thing, okay? That they can do something better, that they can bring something that's more efficient. Well, guess what? What I want to do is maybe kind of a little bit of a flipped side to that. I want to bring all the people together who can do this world a better way. I want to gather all of us together and create and see where it takes us. Now, I already have a blueprint. It's been directly sent to me. I've I've received it. It's in my core being, what I know I'm here to do. But I want people of magnificence and excellence to surround me so that I can learn from them as much as they learn from me. And this will be a whole new paradigm. It will be one in which we'll be setting up prototypes for other smaller organizations to follow if they so deem that to be a necessity. And everyone gets their needs met. Everyone works together towards a common goal and a common desire. And the most important thing of this goal is to remove oppression and to re-implement freedom on this planet, to guide and direct and serve the people and the planet itself. It's not just about a product, for example. We're talking an entire planet. This is very, very important. Every one of us that begins to work together, we are going to be adjusting the way we react, the way we communicate, the way that we implement, the way we make decisions. Trust me, I've already been going through that for the last 4.5 years because I am a planetary individual. I eat, live, breathe, sleep the planet. It's just the way I've been. And actually, I told my parents I wasn't going to get married or have children by the time I was 10, 11, or 12. I knew even back then that I was not here to just have babies and the white picket fence and the house and then die. I knew that was not my destiny. So one of the key things about my vision is getting all of you guys dreaming again. And each of you, please remember that you have a piece of the new earth unfolding. You came here with a mission. It is intact, whether you think your gifts are intact or not. Do not equate the two. If you still are not capable of receiving guidance, you either think you don't receive it or hear it or feel it or see it or whatever. That does not mean your mission is not intact. So be patient. And I know you're tired of hearing that, but just continue to be patient because it's going to come. And it's time for all of us to move on and move together as a team, as a force. I'm going to put a call out, especially to the Guardians, that we will need assistance. We have needed assistance since day one. It was not the right time to have this interview. And now it is. And I know there are many of you out there that are feeling trapped in your JOBs. I would like to assist you. I'm going to go ahead and put together like a 30-minute session, and I'm going to charge everybody $30, okay? I think that's fair. 30-minute session if you feel that you need assistance in figuring out why you're at this job, okay? What you're really doing behind the scenes, and where you think you're going. And we can even communicate a bit about these up and coming Guardian Centers and how you could play a role in that. We are going to need everything from astrophysicists to electricians, to writers, to translators. I mean, you name it, therapists, consultants. This is a big operation. It's going to take an incredible amount of cohesion, cooperation, and we're doing it all under a new paradigm. There will be no tolerance, by the way, if that is not something you're in alignment with, because we don't have any more time to mess around. And I want to say something about this. For all of you Guardians who have questioned the fact that you do see the darkness, you do see the realities of the other planes, the other locations, the other dimensions, what have you. You do see how that's impacting this planet and its people. and other planets, I might add. Do not forget that in the days of old, the reason that we are here again doing this is because we did get lackadaisical. We did get too quickly manipulated by good news. We let our guards down too soon, too fast, too early. I hope that resonates. I know it does with me. So don't let anybody tell you that, you're focusing too much on the darkness. No, because we're realistic. It's important for you to keep your eyes open. It's also important to stay open to the beauty and the harmony and the amazing expansion that's going on this planet. Recognizing every bird that sings to you, every hummingbird that flies within your field, every cloud that floats by you is another message or potentially another being trying to communicate with you. Or it could be Mother Earth herself. We are in a magnificent time. And this call to the guardians in particular is that we really do a final check on our own house. We check out our closets, we check our emotional, mental bodies, we see if there's anything left over residually, because remember, if you step in and you dive into something such as this, where you're working with Galactic Connection and the team, accountability is absolutely key. It will be very, very important, because ultimately at hand, we are messengers. We are working for God itself, himself, herself. And I pretty much think you agree that we just want to get her done. We're ready. We want to run out the gate now. So I would like to assist any of you if you would like to remove any kind of restrictions in the way that you are thinking of the possibilities. Now, please do yourself a favor. Begin to write down or record or draw or whatever floats your boat, your vision. Your vision of, I want to create Oregon generators. Okay? How do you want that to look? Who do you want to work with? What do you want to do? And do it without the restriction of, you know what? I better not think this way because that requires too much money. I was given a very specific message to relay that it is now time for us to dream without thinking of the restrictive constraints that have been placed upon dreams due to money. We have got to let that go. We truly are in and at the gate of a golden age where what we want and what we want to create, it's going to open up a whole new can of worms, because we have to remain responsible. We have to remain reliable, and we have to remain accountable for what we're starting to create. This is a whole new way of being, frankly. And I look forward to it, okay? But there will be challenges, because we're kind of moving through this whole phase of what we've been so programmed to think that we have to do. And creating that allowance and that blessed space of just knowing it's going to come from within us, that we are creators, and we can do this, and we came here to do this. So removing restrictions is really key, and removing blockages for sure. So these guardian centers These are also centers where we will be gathering the masters. And there will be specific locations where that will be predestined, I might add. And one of the sole goals is that the masters will be re-educated, they will be retrained, they will be remembering, they will be prepared, they will be initiated. I mean, there'll be a multitude of different things that will be going on. They will be healed. And then once they're ready, then they will go out to the world, just as the apostles once did. So these are the types of centers that I have received messages that I will be overseeing in the development and the structure. And I am looking very forward to working alongside other fellow guardians, because guess what? We've done this before. I know I've done this 5 times before. This is my 6th time. So I am putting a call out for a couple of different types. Now, remember this. It is very important to remember that we have not received the funding as of yet, okay? I don't have millions and billions of dollars sitting in my lap right now. But I do know that there are people out there that want to support my vision and your vision. And if we retain our purity, our uncorruptibility, our integrity, our honesty, all of the values that were so incredibly revered during the time of Camelot, each person that sat at the round table, high priestesses and Templars, they agreed to an oath, and that oath was all of those core qualities. And I am still searching for that within each and every individual I work with, because we're working, you know who our boss is? Not only just ourselves from within, but our boss is God, him, her, itself, whatever you want to call it. That's my boss. That's going to be our boss when we work on this project. And it's an incredible honor to be here, to even put this out on the internet. In fact, I was a little bit nervous about it because I've never done anything like this before. You know, they're always pushing to keep going. So I would like to put a call out for a couple of different things. I'd like to start collecting resumes for all the different types of talents and traits. If you're feeling called to these types of centers, I'm already getting emails from people who have had dreams or memories, or they've said that they have already been told they're supposed to work with me, or something along those lines. Please feel free to send in your resume. Now, when you send in your resume, okay, and for those that don't have JOBs, just put together a list of all your talents and traits. It's really important for you to also put down what you really want to do as well. But remember, all those years in corporate management, corporate work, corporate training, corporate sales, whatever, it is a very great beneficial indicator. It's great to have some of those qualities as we move forward. We just need to kind of avoid the restrictive thinking, really stay open and allow abundance and the unfoldment of this grand divine vision to come into play. So 2 calls. One is for volunteers. So the first one is for anybody who would like to assist us with the Spanish articles and the translations, either submitting Spanish articles, and we have just received word that we have another gentleman who's been emailing me for years who is interested in helping us kick off the Spanish community. So that's number 1. If you're willing to help us there, that'd be great. Number 2, if you're a volunteer that would like to help us with different languages, that would be awesome. And finally, we're calling out for the ambassadors. And I call them ambassadors because these are the guardians that are placed all around the world. We're ultimately looking for, right now, just to start, with 1 representative of each country. and also one representative of each state in the United States, one representative of each of the territories, perhaps maybe in Canada, for example. So those are just examples. I know there's lots and lots of different countries out there. We would like to talk to you. One of the things that we would really like to do is take the blog to the next level. And this is part of my dream. It started back in 2012. I was told to be patient and that the resources would be coming. So I want to kind of start preparing for that. Now, please remember, we all, even those few that work with me, we are all very overloaded already. So please be patient. And for those of you who are willing to come in and assist on a voluntary basis, that would be great too. We will require that you've already gone through the implant removal process. I know what those implants do. They are transmitters and receivers, okay? They do cause havoc. They do cause blockage. They do cause mind control, okay? Period. So I will not budge on that. It is not a personal thing. It's because this is the business I'm in and I have seen it. I've seen it from one end of the spectrum to the other. So if you're interested and you've already gone through the process, you will definitely be somebody we'll be wanting to speak to. Okay, so again, please be patient with us. We were a little nervous about making this announcement, quite frankly, because of our resources. And for anyone out there who's hearing this and seeing the level of commitment of Galactic Connection, and you're willing to assist us on a monetary level or even a human resource level, please contact us. You can drop an email to admin@galacticconnection.com. That's ADMIN @galacticconnection.com. And for the rest of you, I just want to tell you that this hopefully shows you that we are moving ahead. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And I'm not singling out anyone in particular. I just know that my mission is to get together with the Guardians because I myself am one. And that was one of the things I chose to do. So I look forward to giving each one of you a personal hug and being able to just really reconnect and remember all of the times that we've done this before. So give yourself a pat on the back, all you guys out there and girls. We have clearly and outstandingly surpassed that mark. So I leave you with that. Thank you with all my heart for participating, for supporting, for protecting me and all of us at Galactic Connection, including our website. And we look forward to hearing all of your comments about our new site coming up. And as always, you know how to reach us. And let me see, is there anything else? Check out our products and services. We know that they work. We know that they do great things for the planet and great things for the people. So lots of love, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.